Hello students, I already started the Silk Road as you know by this time, and I had uploaded many tutorial audios. YouTube links been provided to you, you all know about it. Uh, I have discussed in my previous audio presentation lecture up to you will be fine. That means the author was suffering from headache, cold and cough, altitude problem. You all know about it. And the most importantly, he was taken by Shitan to the Darchen Medical College, where a doctor who looked less like a doctor gave or prescribed him some medicines, and also told him that he will be perfectly fine to undertake the Koda or the pilgrimage. I made myself clear, or I explained up to this in my previous audio lecture presentation. Now let me continue. But before I continue, I'm just going to explain the dialogue of the doctor, the final confirmation that yes, you can undertake the pilgrimage journey, you can undertake the Koda. So that line I am just going through it. It's a cold, he said finally through Shitan, a cold and effects of height. Altitude actually means the height. Top summit, the author already traveled in high altitude, so that affected his health a bit. I will give you something for it. I asked him if he thought I would recover enough to be able to do the Koda. Oh yes, he said, you will be fine, you will be absolutely fine to undertake it, or to continue with your expedition, or to continue with your journey or pilgrimage. Now let's see. I walked out of the medical college clutching a brown envelope. Now clutch means actually to hold something very tightly. Stuffed means filled up with 15 screws of paper. Now in each paper there is some herbal medicines. Okay, some herbal medicines are there. Tibetan medicines we can say about it. I had a 5-day course of Tibetan medicine which I started right away. So I have been given some Tibetan local medicines by the doctor, by the Tibetan doctor. Nick Middleton was given some medicines, and he was been given a 5-day course of medicine, and he was been told to consume the medicines right away, right from the beginning, right now only. I opened an after breakfast package because it has been given after breakfast, after lunch, after dinner. In this way or in between, something more was given also. All these are herbal medicines. As I already told you, local Tibetan medicine. So let me continue. I opened an after breakfast package and found it contained a brown powder that I had to take with hot water. Dear students, please underline it if you have the text with you, or since the PDF file been given by me or uploaded by me in the Google Classroom, so you can easily access it. There you can kindly highlight it that this line is important. A brown powder I had to take with hot water. It tasted like cinnamon. The contents of the lunchtime and bedtime packages were less obviously identifiable. Now it is very difficult for the author to identify the contents of those medicines. I told you it's like a herbal medicines, local Tibetan medicines, and it is very difficult for the author to actually identify what are the contents of the medicine. The contents of the lunchtime and bedtime packages were less obviously identifiable. Both contained small spherical brown pellets. They looked like pills, small, spherical, rounded in shape. They looked suspiciously like sheep dung. But of course, I took them that night after my first full day's course. I slept very soundly, like a log, not a dead man. And thank God, after a long time, finally, the author had a good night's sleep, or rather to say, finally, the author had a good night rest. And he slept like a log, not a dead man. So now I am moving on to the next page and the next paragraph. Once he saw that I was going to leave, that means I was going to survive, Shitan left me to return to Lhasa. Now it's time for Shitan to say goodbye to the author. And after positive signs of recovery, mentally and from the physical perspective of the author, Shitan finally came to the conclusion that the author will survive, the author will live. So finally, now he parted with the author. As far maybe the contact was in that way that from Lhasa, Shitan will move back. As a Buddhist, he told me he knew that it didn't really matter if I passed away, but he thought it would be bad for business. Now, as a Buddhist, Shitan had a firm belief that death is universal. Now, if a tourist dies in the course of the perilous expedition to reach Mount Kailash, it's a part of the journey. It doesn't matter much to Shitan, but it matters from the business prospect. It matters from the business perspective rather, because that will prove to be bad for business. And very frankly, Shitan told him regarding this. And then Shitan left him and went on his way, because Shitan had to return to Lhasa. Now, without any companion, the author felt very lonely. Okay, dear students, now the author is alone. Remember previously when he was sipping hot tea, at that time he was feeling very lonely. But at that time, after half an hour, Shitan returned and rescued the author from his solitary confinement. But now Shitan won't return, because Shitan went to Lhasa, and as far as contact with the author, and the Shitan was very positive also, the author will survive. So Shitan returned to Lhasa. Now the author is all alone. He needed someone to communicate, because he can't communicate in Tibetan language. He needs someone with whom he can communicate in English. That is the main thing. Now let's continue. Darchen didn't look so horrible after a night's sleep. It was still dusty, partially derelict, and punctuated. Punctuated, you can say encircled by or covered by, punctuated by heaps of rubble and refuse. Now it seems that Darchen became a lonely place for the author. It didn't look so horrible after a good night's sleep. It was still dusty and partially derelict, partially, not totally, and punctuated by heaps of rubble and refuse. Unlike Horde, Darchen was not so dirty, but it became a bit dusty also. But the sun shone brilliantly in a clear blue sky, and the outlook across the plain to the south gave me a vision of the Himalayas, commanded by a huge snow-capped mountain. Snow-capped, or we can say snow-covered mountain, Gulha Mandhata, with just a whiffs of cloud suspended over its summit. Summit means, we can say, at the topmost layer, at the apex, at the topmost layer. The town had a couple of rudimentary general stores selling Chinese cigarettes. That rudimentary general stores means stationery shops. And what are the sellable commodities? As mentioned by the author, number one, Chinese cigarettes, followed by soap and other basic provisions. Actually, provisions means basic day-to-day commodities of daily use, or in short, you can say daily necessities. So that is provisions, as well as the usual string of prayer flags. Now, the Buddhist tradition, prayer flags are common even in the topmost summit also. It has been mentioned in the text we discussed previously. At the topmost summit also, the author saw some prayer flags are being fixed. So Chinese cigarettes are available, soap and other basic commodities are available, as well as a string of prayer flags are also available. In front of me, in front of one, men gathered in the afternoon for a game of pool. So there was a huddle of a group of people. They were playing pool or snooker the battered table looking supremely incongruous in the open air. Incongruous means it was looking so odd, out of fashion, you can say. But still, people were gathering around it to play a game of pool or snooker. So I repeat, looking supremely incongruous in the open air while nearby women washed their long hair in the icy water of a narrow brook. Brook means actually a small stream. Icy means very, very cold. So the author saw many women also gathering around, washing their long hair in the icy cold water of a nearby stream, or you can say icy cold water of a nearby brook that babbled down past my guest house. And babble down means is actually it passes by the guest house of the author. So maybe that was the reason he saw some women washing their long hairs in the icy cold water of the brook, because the water flows by his guest house also. So I continue. Darchen felt relaxed and unhurried, but for me, it came with a significant drawback. There were no pilgrims, but the main thing, it was a significant drawback. Why drawback for the author? The reason behind is that there were no pilgrims, and it seems that the town is marching at a very unhurried pace. There was, practically speaking, no pilgrims, and I already told you, I explained also to you previously that the author came during the off season. Yes, the author came during the off season. That was the reason the town was looking deserted. Less pilgrims were there. So I repeat this line. Darchen felt relaxed and unhurried. But for me means, but for the author, it came with a significant drawback. There were no pilgrims. Practically speaking, there were no pilgrims because I told you previously, the author came during the off-season time. This is not the right season time. So dear students, I stop here in this audio presentation. Listen to this audio presentation very carefully, and if there is any doubt, kindly communicate. Thank you, students. Thank you all.